What up, everyone? So this is going to be kind of like a mini rant slash talking about PG&E and what happened this past Sunday. So Pacific Gas and Electric, they're a utility company responsible for parts of Northern California for electricity and gas, as well as parts of like Bakersfield, even Oregon, parts of Nevada, I believe, and Arizona. And PG&E, by far, especially if you live in California, you know this, is one of the worst companies that ever existed. They've been around for like 115 years, and they have been negligent and responsible for multiple wildfires. Many of the wildfires that happened in 27 and 2018, they were found responsible for it. And I think that was one of the reasons why they filed for going bankrupt, for bankruptcy. And if you remember the movie Aaron Brockovich, and I have a little reference here, from 1952 to 1966, PG&E dumped roughly 370 million gallons of chromium 6 tainted wastewater into unlined wastewater spreading ponds around the town of Hinckley, California. That's based on the movie Aaron Brockovich, if you haven't seen it. And it caused a lot of health problems with people, and they are a very corrupt company. They're terrible. So basically this is just what happened this past Sunday. We got a big heat wave. I just did the video about how to stay cool, and I think I kind of jinxed it, but it's just insane. This past Sunday, I was at lunch with my family, and around noon, I get a text message response from PG&E saying that our electricity has gone out starting at 11:57 a.m. I was already at the restaurant, and some people as early as 10:30 in the morning. And it says estimated time for restoration was 9 p.m. And now, here's the thing: I've been in this house for a little over 4 years, and the grid systems, particularly in this area, this 10-mile radius or whatever, is terrible. We've had at least over, and I'm not exaggerating, and this is on the conservative side, 10 or more blackouts in the past 4 years, and it's not going to get any better. And of those 10, or even a dozen or more, 2 other incidences, there were more than 8 hours with no electricity. Now the thing is, this is not inconvenience in terms of like you go to like McDonald's and they get your order wrong and you hate going there, so you just go to a different fast food joint. This is not like being frustrated where you're on hold for 30 minutes on Verizon or you're getting bad service somewhere else. The problem with PG&E is they're a monopoly, and you're pretty much screwed with the exception of solar panels and getting a generator, which I may eventually get into. Nonetheless, they are a monopoly, and you don't have any choice, just like the DMV and other things that's government run. It's very unfortunate, and because of that, they can dick you around. That's pretty much what they do. So anyways, it's like noon, and it's like till 9 o'clock, and we had this heat wave. It hit 106 degrees. 106. Now inside my house, we have a 2-story house, and like I said, the heat rises, and it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is a big of a deal. It's an inconvenience, but when you have a child, I have a 16-month-old, it makes things very, very frustrating. I was very irritable, and for the sake of my child and stuff, because she usually goes to bed at 7 p.m. upstairs, and we rely on the electricity to have the camera to look at her. The camera's not that big of a deal. You can kind of listen for her, but the AC is probably the most important thing, especially in a 2-story house. And upstairs, I had a digital thermometer or whatever, and it got to the point where by the time the electricity went on, I looked at the camera, and the camera has a temperature. It was 92 degrees upstairs. There's no way my daughter can sleep up there. So we were out of electricity for 8.5 hours from noon to about 8:30 p.m. Now, once in a while, growing up, I've been born and raised in California, you would get one of these crazy outages once every few years, but the grid system is completely overpowered. it's outdated, and they haven't admitted to it. It's like they're not fixing the problem. They're just all about profits. They have a outdated system. The power lines are terrible, and if you just type in PG&E complaints or whatever, everything is all 1 star on the Consumer Affairs website. It is just atrocious. They have killed people. I mean, look at this. I mean, the wildfires. They're responsible for the one in '94, the Toronto fire, a substation in fire in San Francisco, the '99 Pendola fire, the Sims fire in '04, the Freds fire in '04, and the more recent one, fairly recent, the 2010 San Bruno pipeline explosion that killed like 7 or 8 people. It's unbelievable. And I read a little bit about PG&E, and they have distribution lines which bring electricity to directly to homes. According to Wikipedia, 2/3 of them statewide are above ground. For transmission lines, the cost of undergrounding is about 80 million per mile underground, while for distribution lines, the cost of underground lines is about 3 million per mile, and compared to overhead lines, about 800,000 per mile. So, in layman's terms, what does that mean? I'm no expert. Correct me if I'm wrong, but underground costs way more, but it's more reliable. But it's 80 million per mile, whereas if it's above lines by trees, and that's what causes fires a lot, it's only 3 million per mile. So what are they going to do? They're going to cut costs. And the other thing that pisses me off about PG&E is their solution to everything, even during the wildfires, even during like a heat wave. And I got another notice from PG&E. Their solution to everything is they're going to just have a rolling blackout. They're going to shut down your power for like 1 or 2 days. And this is a real big inconvenience. For one, it's not just the AC, but there's people that rely on medical equipment that requires electricity. 2, you have all this food that needs to be refrigerated, and my wife had to go while I watched the kid to get some ice. When we did this in the past, in the middle of the damn night, get ice, pack up all our, milk and eggs and stuff that's going to go bad and it's going to spoil. And it's just a huge inconvenience, and obviously you can't see with no light, and it's just a pain in the butt. Real quick on the San Bruno explosion, the natural gas pipeline, it was at least 54 years old, and the state inspector warned them about replacing it, and they never did. And according to the state inspector, the report stated that the pipeline that exploded, installed in 1956, did not even meet standards of that time. So they've gone bankrupt and they got picked up by someone else. I don't know all the details. But it's just amazing. They have a campfire back in 2018. It's just one thing after another. They're responsible for killing people. Look it up. This company just kills people. They just give you money and pay you out, but no amount of money is worth, you or a close friend or a spouse, loved one dying. It's just insane. So that's my 2 cents. It was a terrible night. I just got back from terrible day and night. I just got back from work, and because everything was all jacked up, I had to bring my kid downstairs, and we have a pack and play, and then the electricity went back on, and it just messed everything up. Then the power finally came back on, and then I had to get the AC going. I had to wait another 30 minutes for the temperature to go from 92 down to a reasonable 70 something for my baby. Then after that, by the time it was like 9 p.m., I was ready to go to sleep. And then my baby's she's on a regimen, so she got really thrown off. She's going, and she's also teething. Her back ones, her molars, I believe, so she's congested, the whole 9 yards, and she kept waking up every hour. And nonetheless, I didn't even get to put her. She finally went to sleep and didn't make noise at 1:30 in the morning. I didn't get to sleep till like 2 o'clock in the morning. Then I had to wake up at 6 and go to work and come back and do it all over again. It's just, that company just is just asinine. They piss me off, and I just got another message saying that they're gonna do more rolling blackouts, anywhere between 3 and 10, and it could be about 1 or 2 hours, and telling us to conserve energy. Now, of course, I'm gonna do my due diligence and try to conserve where I can, but that's just their solution to everything. You call them, you get no customer service, you get nothing. They don't even tell you what the reason is. You can't even talk to a human. A lot of times their messages, their alerts are not even accurate. During the 2017 and 2018 wildfires, said they texted certain people and said that your property, you're going to have an outage between this time and this time. And guess what happened? Some people, the outage didn't even happen. And some people, it happened earlier, some people later. They don't even prepare you for it. And then when you try to get your money back, they bust your balls for like $150, while these CEOs the investors, they take all the money, they pocket all the money. It's just, I'm just pissed. So I haven't even had a chance to look into generators, maybe solar, I don't know. Get some backup generators, maybe even a backup generator for the house. I have no idea. I just thought about that. Could cost a lot of money, but it's like living in a third world country. No disrespect to a third world country, but I mean, I live in the freaking Northern California Bay Area, $1 million plus home, and we can't even get electricity. I'm scared to like worry about the electricity. It's just freaking ridiculous. So that's my time. I gotta go. That's it. Hopefully, we have a heat wave the next couple more days, and they may voluntarily turn off the power off again for a couple hours, but they don't tell the exact time. I just hate it. Another thing about California, oh my God, I just can't take it. Talk to you later. Bye.